We have a total of 6 game modes we can play with other people in Splatoon 3. And while that may seem like a lot, 5 out of those 6 modes are on the same stages with very few changes, only there to accommodate for certain modes. And that's why many people want a new game mode or something to keep the gameplay interesting. For example, Splatoon 2 introduced Clam Blitz and Salmon Run, 2 modes that are now loved within the community. But so far in Splatoon 3, every new mode we've gotten has been very limited. These events only ever last up to 48 hours at most and don't happen often. And that's something many people have started to dislike about the game. They just want permanent modes. So in this video, I will talk about limited time events in Splatoon 3, what they are, why people dislike them, and how I would fix them to make them fit into the game better. So that we're all on the same page, let's first talk about what I mean by limited time events. Basically, they're events that only last for a certain amount of time and happen on some kind of a schedule. They usually change the gameplay or add something to it to make it feel more special. For example, the most popular one is Splatfest. This is a monthly event that lasts 48 hours in which you can play Turf War and fight for one of 3 teams. Anarchy modes are completely unavailable during that time, so you only have access to Turf War and Tricolor Turf War, which is a mode unique to Splatfest. Then we have Big Run. This is an event for Salmon Run that replaces Freelance for 48 hours and only happens once a season. It happens on a PvP map that was turned into a Salmon Run stage, and it often introduces a new feature for Salmon Run like King Salmonids or Grisco weapons. We have another Salmon Run event called Extra Work, in which you play 5 waves on a set scenario and try to get the highest amount of eggs. There are no King Salmonids and there's no RNG. The point is to plan and optimize waves with your teammates to get the most eggs you can. And finally, we have challenges. It has special modes and a monthly challenge. Special modes have some kind of gimmick that adds something interesting to pre-existing map modes. For example, Foggy Ocean that added fog on the maps, or the Sheldon Challenge where all the weapons were random. Monthly challenges have no changes, but you can get a picture of your team posted to Splatoon's Twitter accounts if you're in the top 3. Challenges happen weekly on average, but are only available in 3 2-hour windows in one day, and don't worry, I'll get back to this in a bit. All of these, except Splatfest, have been added in Splatoon 3. It feels like the devs can't commit to adding permanent new modes, so they just make them into limited time events. And the problem with that is that it doesn't fix how stale the regular modes can become when they're all you can play a vast majority of the time. Now let's talk about why these events are so disliked. First, I think it's important to state that most people don't dislike the gameplay, they dislike the event part where everything is limited. I myself love them gameplay-wise, but some of these have no reason to be this limited. I believe that we have so many limited time events because the devs want to capitalize on FOMO to get more people to participate. I mean, of course, more people will participate at a given time if they don't know when's the next time they'll get to play the event. But because of that, Splatoon now has enough events to rival a free gacha game. Players are getting tired of so many unjustifiably limited events. They no longer feel that interesting or special. The best example of this that people always bring up is challenges. Yes, the modes are really fun, but there is absolutely no excuse for them to be that limited. 3 2-hour windows in one day is insane. Just 6 hours in a whole day to experience the mode, and most people can't even play at more than one of those times. The problem isn't that there are events, I think they can be done very well. The problem is that there is no real reason for some of these events to be so limited instead of being fun permanent modes. We want new game modes, and for some reason the devs refuse to give us anything that lasts longer than one weekend. Now I want to talk about how I would fix limited time events. This isn't about the gameplay, it's more about how these events can be changed to really fit into the game naturally while still keeping what makes them fun. I found that there are 2 categories of events. One where the event is deemed important enough to replace the normal modes, and the second where the events don't replace regular modes. That first category includes Splatfest and Big Run, and I think they should stay relatively untouched, even if I love Big Run and would like to see it a bit more often. Whether you like the gameplay or not, you can't deny that they feel special, like real events. The cosmetic changes, the gameplay additions, and the overall sense of community they bring makes Big Run and Splatfest feel important, like they have an impact and like they're something you don't want to miss. Even if I have my criticisms, these events are done well. Their importance is shown through everything that surrounds them and by the fact that they even replace regular modes. And then we have the other two, challenges and extra work, that I think need big changes. Starting with extra work, it has no reason to be 48 hours if the main goal is to push the scenario the furthest possible to get the most eggs. Why not make it a monthly thing, where every month there's a new rotation and at the end of it, the top 3 teams are announced on Twitter like usual. It should stay separate from freelance and still have the option to play solo. I think this is a cool way to add another mode for Salmon Run while still keeping the best parts of extra work. It would also give more time for players and the community to plan out waves and push the scenario to its limits to see how many eggs can truly be obtained. For challenges, I think it should be a weekly thing. Since we have on average 1 challenge a week, why not make it available the whole week? This way, way more people would get to play and experience the challenges. Because trust me, no one is waking up at 4 AM to play fucking tower control on Undertow Spillway and Flounder Heights. And for the monthly challenge that gets posted to Twitter, they can simply announce in advance which time window will be used for the rankings. This is a simple way to keep the good parts of the event without it being so limited you can't play it at all. Challenges don't replace any regular modes, so there would be no problem. I can even see it being a nice way to have fun when you're tilted but still want to play the game. In my opinion, the problem here is clearly challenges and extra work. Them being more permanent would definitely help with things feeling stale because of seasonal updates and make Big Run and Splatfest feel more important and fun again. I don't know if they were originally intended to be limited or not, but the way they're presented in the game, in the Twitter posts, and in Splatnet while somehow being as limited or even more limited than the actually good events feels very strange, unjustified, and artificial. And that's why many people are tired of them and don't want to see more limited time events in Splatoon 3. I said this in the video, but I really do love the gameplay for these events, but that fun kinda gets soured when I remember how uselessly limited some of them are. We don't need more events, we need new game modes. I think extra work and challenges especially could work really well as permanent modes. I'm sorry, but I just don't understand how anyone at any point agreed on those time windows for challenges. This also makes me wonder what's gonna happen to these events after the update cycle, because if they don't rerun events all the time, then we're just gonna have the base game modes left. Anyway, let me know how you feel about limited time events. I'm super interested in hearing what you have to say about this. Thank you so much for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!